Hello and welcome to the presentation lecture. Now, before you freak out, this is an online class, and if we were in a face-to-face class or even a hybrid class, you would actually get to stand up in front of the class and give a presentation. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to just have you create the PowerPoint or the Prezi or whatever kind of thing you want to use. As long as you've created a presentation, that's all going to work. Okay, so you don't actually have to worry about recording yourself speaking and giving a presentation or anything like that, but you do need to create something. So let's go ahead and get right to it. All right, for the presentation, what we don't want to have happen is just a list of stuff on a slide that you're going to be reading. And then this bullet point says this, and this bullet point says this. See these people right here? What is going on? That's boring. Ugh. There are better ways to actually give information when it comes to creating a presentation from a multimedia, meaning multi-ways, visual and audio and whatever. Okay, so let's move on. We're not doing that. We're not going to just list bullet points and then just read them off. Okay. Instead, we're going to make them interesting. Now you can use these techniques if you ever have to stand up and give a presentation in front of people using PowerPoint. Again, for this class, you're just going to be creating the PowerPoint itself or another form of thereof that will have the included information. What is that information? We're going to get to that during this video. All right. So in a visual presentation, the heading should stand out and the words should not be crowded together. Notice I've got presentations. That is the heading that stands out. Words are not super crowded together. And we should leave room around graphics so they don't seem crowded. Okay, so let's go back to this first slide. Okay, look at that. It's not crowded. Words up here. See that? Ooh, I actually took my own advice. Okay, moving on. Example. This would be an example of a graph you could make. Clearly the heading is up front. We have some text here, and we have a couple of pictures that really kind of get to the point of what we're talking about. It doesn't have to be a lot of information here. In fact, too much information is not good. Okay, for example, don't do this. Oh, good gravy. That just hurts my head. Okay, what am I looking at? What does this mean? How does all this connect? Too much information overload. That's not a good example of a PowerPoint slide. Yeah, okay. So if you have a topic that deals with a lot of statistics, using charts and graphs is a good way of helping that. For example, they're good for representing statistical trends. They're also good for making comparisons. If you're looking at, let's say your topic is medical marijuana, or how it was legalized in Colorado, maybe look at life in Colorado before and look at life now. Is there a graph that shows what's happened as far as crime statistics or tax revenues or something like that? That may be a good thing to use for getting your information across. Okay, using images is good. Okay, you should have images because, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Caption, you can't just have it be by itself though. Okay, in other words, don't just show images without text. For example, when I pull up this next image, okay, what do you think? Well, when I do this in a class setting, I get people saying all sorts of different things. Oh, vaccines, or oh, heroin, or oh, I'm scared of needles, or oh, that's doctors. Oh, I think that's a spaceship. Without any point of reference of what this image is about, people are gathering any sorts of things that they're bringing with them. You need to make sure you're clear what this picture is going to be about. Okay, this is better. We have a picture. Sorry, I'm a little weird. It's a little fuzzy here. But we have a picture with some text that makes it clear why we have this picture of the desert. Oh, it's about deforestation. So this would be a better example of a slide. Okay. Now, what's expected of a multimedia argument? You want to be good, organized, free of errors. Okay. If you have a claim, you need to support it with evidence. And if you have got information like that chart or whatever, make sure you cite it. You need to have a reference page. One thing you'll notice in this video is that we'll talk about the fact that you need to get a reference page, and it's the last slide you're going to create. But basically, you can just copy and paste your reference page from your proposal paper and have that be your last slide. So that's kind of cool. Okay, what's not expected, you don't have to put on a song and dance. That's not, don't have to worry about that. Okay, some presentation types that you often hear are informative, just letting people know about a problem. Persuasive, hey, look, we're trying to convince you that this is a thing, I want to try to change your mind. And motivating, to actually get something done. really we're focusing on these two right here. We're not really focusing on informative. Yes, we need to know what, we need to tell people what the issue is, but more importantly, we need to persuade them that something needs to be changed and, well, persuade them that something's wrong and needs to be changed and something that needs to be done about it. So these are all not interdependent, but we're doing more than just informative. Now, the tone of the presentations need to be similar to that of the proposal paper as opposed to the opinion editorial. If the editorial is a little more casual, this needs to be professional, what you're going to be creating. Okay, don't be goofy. Goofy, remember me? Yeah, we're not doing that during your presentation. All right, so here's the key points for planning the presentation. Plan your introduction. So if you're going to be figuring out what am I talking about, your introduction, really what is your topic about and what is the proposed solution? Okay, make a list of key points that you want to make for your presentation and plan your conclusion. Okay, this is what you would do to kind of get going as far as starting to create it, and I'll give you the outline of what you need to do to create it in just a second. Now, a word of the wise, don't use many different types of fonts in the presentation. No, scary, distracting. Pick one font and use one font, okay? And a font that's not crazy like this one here. No, that's just distracting. More words to the wise, only use one main point per slide because then it's too much information overload. Use quality photos instead of clip art, and use less text and more images. Again, images are great, but you need to have at least a little bit of text with them to give them into perspective. Even more words to the wise, don't use sound effects. It comes across as cheesy, and not doing that. Again, professional things. Even more words to the wise, goodness. Proofread your slides. Nothing really damages your credibility like typos or wrong information. And here's the presentation elements for this assignment. Make sure you have a slide that deals with the overview of the problem, a slide that has a list of solutions already tried, a slide that deals with your proposition, a slide that specific explanation of the components of the proposition and why it's a good solution to the problem. Okay, you may need more than one slide for this one. Discussion of feasibility. If you've got this plan, how are you going to make it happen? Call to action. You've convinced me. Yes, I'm on your side. Now what can we need to do to make this happen? And then your last slide is the reference slide. So as long as you do these, and where am I going to get this information? Well, all this information should be in your proposal paper. You just have to create slides then to do it. So for this presentation assignment, I'm going to basically be looking, do you have this, 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 this? Now on the rubric, I think it says 5 to 10 minutes. If you were presenting this in front of somebody, you'd be expected to speak for 5 to 10 minutes. For this class, as long as you have all the elements on the presentation, that's all that matters. So there's your lecture on presentation and what the assignment's about. All right, now go do it.